Hello, Auron. Bishop here. Transcendence 6, left gate. Here we go. So, Exdeath, Maria, Auron. So, I went with Auron because I plan on trying to use him in the Reckoning. I went with Maria because initially I actually mistook that I thought her trap would be able to tick the orb. Found out I was significantly wrong. And so I was scrolling through the list and figuring out who I could put. Initially I had twins. And so right up at the top, and the ones I had forgot, I said, oh, Exdeath, he'll hit the orb. I'll go ahead and use him here, because then I won't worry about bringing him to the next one. I was like, then I get the BT synergy and everything else. So as you can see here, my calls are not hyper defensive aggressive here, because I realized, between everybody in this party, I'm going to get a massive amount of debuffs. So, but I did use Kurasame here with Auron. Now you'll notice I do a lot on trying to get after B. The Kraken, the orb on the Kraken is the one I was worried about, because you can, since it starts at 10, unless it's getting a bunch of turns, you're not going to get a whole lot of room here on the orb. So that's why I wasn't quite as aggressive going after A here early on, or for example, like not using the EX here, because I wanted to make sure B was getting turns left and right, because before you know it, you could be on, you could have that orb on one and you would have no way to counter it, and you're going to look at a dead run here. So really with this team, I'm getting a lot of off-turn damage between Exdeaths, saps, and poisons, Maria's traps, Auron's counters. So really makes up for what I was worried about the most, was the lack of having really an attack buffer to really amp anything up for what we had. And plus I have a blue Exdeath that I really haven't used, so why not throw him in here and let's use him with this. So I'm holding off on Sephiroth for later on, once we get closer down the line, since that only has 4 debuffs. So as you can see here, B is down to 5. And even though the orb on this is +5, since it's taking a turn, it's really only +3. This is why I said, you can really have that orb drop on you real quick. So for me, it's like, okay, priority number 1 here is getting the Kraken under 30% as soon as possible. The big concern I had here right now at this point is I was seeing how many turns that Maria was jumping, and so you'll see I start checking to make sure she's not going to jump turns here with that. So this is what determines whether or not I'm going to start pulling new skills in here with what we had. So that's why I went with the EX here instead of the arrow rain, since I really didn't need the heal. So as you can see that I am bypassing the EX to delay them, because again, I do not want to mess with that orb. The goal for me right now is to try to get the Kraken to 60 and then get Exdeaths, and then use Exdeath's burst, because really here, the attack down that Exdeath is bringing to this really makes it easier to really handle the turtle and the Kraken. They're going to get massive braid gains, but when they do attack, they're really not causing a whole lot of damage. So here was an example of where I was getting a little concerned about the orb, because it was down to 2, and then I was like, oh, okay, thank you. When it didn't stone and delayed Auron, it was like, all right, I'm going to get a whole bunch of more turns here, and then the counter flipped it around even more. So it was like, whew, a little bit of room here. I was going to get on the orb with what we got. So as you can see here, the counter is going to take care of the heal. And there we go with that. So now it's up to 8. So I got a little breathing room here. Was a little concerned that I might have to use the summon here, because they had a lot more health than I was hoping to have at this point, especially with Kurasame's debuff rolling back down to 1 stack. That's where I started looking at what else was I going to need to do in order to get these guys going. So wanted to save all the big damage for the summon with this. So now I'll admit, I remembered that Exdeath puts a debuff on with his EX. I honestly couldn't remember what it did, so I was like, well, let me throw it on there right now. So I've got it and it's set and ready to go here with this. So I was double checking to make sure that Maria wasn't going to jump, because like I said, B was the one I was concerned about, making sure I had plenty of room on that orb. Then I realized, hey, I need to refresh that trap anyway, so I went ahead and did it at that point. So I'm getting a little closer now. I'm not feeling quite as concerned as I was about getting down to 60. Like I said, once I got to the 60, I felt I could burst and then summon, and I'd be able to get the orb off of the Kraken. The orb on the turtle's really not that big a deal, because I wasn't delaying turns especially often, so that one didn't bother me quite as much. As you can see, I could keep that one up pretty high with what we were doing. And then thankfully, like I said, attack down really does a number to help reduce what the damage that turtle and that Kraken can do. So really, Exdeath's really good here. I know a lot of people are taking Cait, and I don't blame them. But Exdeath, I think, is probably a whole lot better here on this instead of Cait. All right, so again, getting the stone back up to 6. Like I said, that's the orb I'm not a big fan of here. So I was looking at it and I was like, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test here. So I go ahead and throw Scintilla on here, put that gold frame. Not really for Exdeath, but more for Maria and Auron to try to get just a little bit extra brave damage, especially without an attack buff. So as you can see, I'm kind of testing there because I did want to make sure I had a turn for somebody after Exdeath, because I'm getting ready now that I'm under 60. I'm lining up for the burst here with this. And so I've got Auron in the prime position that I want coming here after B's turn. So this is the last time. Can't remember if B gets a turn here, but that was like, okay, I'm good here. I don't have to stress about the orb. I'm going to be in good shape here with this. So didn't like the way that turned out, where Exdeath's going to get a quick turnaround, but that's okay. So knowing that I'm going to plan on attacking the Kraken, that's why I went ahead and hit him with Kurasame, refreshed it, because they both, the turtle needed it as well. That's why I hit him with a big one right here with the tornado. Again, just trying to whittle that brave down. I wasn't stressing about it. I knew I had Exdeath's burst. So I went with Queen here because, and I don't know everything about Cait Sith, but if I'm not mistaken, Cait Sith deals with brave hits, and as far as I could tell, everything with Exdeath really isn't a whole lot of brave hits. So I was like, I thought Exdeath was bad. So with Queen, I've used her a couple times. Queen gives you that HP damage up by 10% when you have the call. So that's why I went with that one, in order to try to hopefully maximize as much damage as I could here in the burst phase with this. So it's turning out real well. As you can see here, I got 38. Starting to worry a little bit here about A. I'm figuring B is going to be okay, even though I keep focusing my primary damage on him as much as I can. EX with Exdeath, because I really honestly couldn't remember which one would be better. Was it going to be the EX, or was it going to be the skill 1? And there we go, Power of the Void. So I'm in good shape here. I've got Maria coming behind. I've actually got an Exdeath turn coming up. I've got the summon, which is where I'm planning on doing a big burst of damage to get the Kraken down under 30 and get rid of that orb with this. So that's just, I can't deny that BT effect, really not too bad. So I went with Explosive Bow just to make sure I was able to get B down, just in case. I was hopeful that that was going to take B down and get rid of the orb, so I wouldn't worry about it. But thankfully, I didn't have to stress too much, because Exdeath was going to take care of that. So at this point, it's time to flip over to the turtle. I'm going to start focusing on the turtle here right after I get done and refreshing that one, or that buff, or at least I should say at that point I forgot that I needed to go to the turtle. There's the turtle. Now I'm going to use the EX because I wasn't stressing too much about the EX at that point, and I went ahead with the... I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't worried about the delay because I felt with the turtle I had plenty of room, and that's why I was focusing more on the turtle as opposed to the Kraken at this point. So I was thinking about refreshing. I said, hey, I got a free skill. Let's go ahead and use it. And it was pretty weak. I should have used the LD on that one, even though thankfully her the battery she had was pretty good there with that. So like I said, this is more about big damage, as big a piece of damage as I can here during summon using the brave bonuses that I've got, which is why I made the moves that I did here. Like with the tornado going again, even though I had just used it and it was fresh, just trying to maximize as much damage as I could here with this. Which is why I get smart here and realize, hey, I've got an LD. Let's use it. There is no need to walk out of here with LDs still in tow with that. So freebie on ES2 with Exdeath. Get that battery down. And that's the nice part. I was supposed to say one thing with Maria when I was using her with this, she was quite useful with the turn. It could still kind of break. It was nice. It was like having a weaker version of Core here, because I actually thought about bringing Core here to this. So thankfully that HP attack won't kill you, and Auron can really bring it back. So I got to say, this team I thought really did a nice job of neutralizing what these bosses could do, even better than I anticipated. With all the off-turn damage, so this team worked out pretty well. It was a nice little idea with what we had. So going after it again. So like I said, we're on the final run here, trying to maximize as much damage as I can. Like with this, I said, hey, I've got free damage. Let's use it. I wasn't stressed about the orb, so I went ahead and hit it with that. Like I said, I went after the S1 with Maria because I think proper shot's a little bit better here with this. Although, granted, Maria still can't hit more than Exdeath's debuffs. But, hey, she's got to do what she's got to do. Countering's not a bad deal either when you want to get some free damage off that. Yeah, I should have went with Almagast here. I think my old way of doing things where I obsess about, oh, the EX is up, pop that thing immediately. It'll be great in C90. It's not so good right here when you're trying to kill these things as fast as you can. You got to remember the EX's utility, not a big damage dealer. Well, at least not as big as what could happen here. So like here with the, I went with the LD again, just to, big damage, because I could see Kurasame's debuff was on 5 stacks, and it's like, let me use it all for here as much as I can with this, maximize the damage as much as possible. And we get another delay, and so at this point I'm figuring everything's going to be all right. I'd be surprised if B got another turn here. At this point, I was actually surprised it survived through that one, which is why I went with Auron instead of, like I said, Proper Shot was the one I should have. Got to focus on A. Sometimes I start seeing a lot of turns together, and then you start freaking out about, somebody, you're about to eat an big old HP attack instead of, nope, wait and see what's going to get going here. So this bad boy is going to get one more turn. Gets the trap off. We're down to 2%. I'm not stressing too much. Thankfully, there's no HP requirement here, so I don't have to waste my time figuring out if I can, heal up with Maria. So that's why I went ahead and used the smart skill 2 there instead of the EX and blew that turtle up. So like I said, pretty good little team here, if I do say so myself. I think it's Not a bad little comp right there. For now, granted, don't get me wrong, they're all synergy, but hey, I shaved a few turns off of that and got Auron through. So I got to say, not too bad a team there. So there's the party screen. So hey, thanks for watching. If this was helpful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I'd appreciate any comments that you guys might leave about my gameplay or anything constructive that you can say about my gameplay or my commentary. I appreciate you watching. Take care. Bye.